November the 17th and 18th are 2 days of special significance in Australian history. It's the occasion of the return home of the remains of Mungo Man. Mungo Man, this great Australian who was discovered in 1974 on the shoreline sands of Lake Mungo, discovered in the process of my search for climatic change. I'm a geologist, but instead of merely finding geological stones, I was absolutely surprised to discover the bones in this case of the man we have come to know as Mungo Man. Recovered there on the shores of Lake Mungo with my colleague Dr. Alan Thorne, those bones revealed an extraordinary history of ritual interment, an occasion of burial, a level of sophistication quite unexpected to us and quite unexpected to most Australians. The bones were recovered and returned to Canberra for scientific analysis. They have remained there for the last 43 years. Now it's time for them to come home. And come home they do on those November days at the end of this year. But with them, they bring something of special significance. They remind us of the manner of that burial 40,000 years ago. The community who prepared a supply of ochre, very sparse in that region of New South Wales. Ochre, that precious iron mineral, blood red ochre, the symbol of life. Mungo Man's body was especially prepared, anointed as it were, with that precious mineral. Associated with that ochre ritual, there was a substantial fire, smoke swirling across the assembled mourners. That fire today is seen by present Aboriginal people, the descendants of Lake Mungo, as the spirit cleansing. So here we have, 40,000 years ago, on the shore, here in Australia, an example of Aboriginal cultural sophistication, quite unimagined in Australia previously. Now this is happening right here in our own backyard. Had those events happened in other parts of the world, in Africa, Israel, Asia, they would be on the front page of Australian newspapers. They would be part of the mindset of Australian people. Sadly, that has not happened. We have not yet faced up to the reality of that section of Indigenous history, a section which now demonstrates a degree of cultural sophistication previously unimagined. That ochre ceremony is the first of its kind in the world. The first in the world of that, and that is the tradition of present Aboriginal people. Now that return is bringing with it not just the return of bones, but the return of something even more significant. For the last 150 years, the Indigenous people of Australia have been subjected to the indignity of science using Aboriginal bones, Aboriginal skeletal remains as almost an industry to prove originally that the Aboriginal people were inferior. That process has gone on for 150 years. Alan Thorne and I came along at the end of that process, but we now have, with the understanding of the Aboriginal people, formed a liaison, a unity across the cultural boundary where science and the traditional people share that history together. This creates a union between scientists and Indigenous people, a bridge between cultures. It's a bridge that Australia drastically needs in the rest of society. These are moments of great change. That change is taking place in front of us, or on November the 17th and 18th, in New South Wales Victorian border. That change is not just a symbol, but is the beginning of a new generation of cross-cultural understanding between Indigenous cultures and white Western cultures. The work of science now, in close collaboration with the three traditional owners, the Barkindji, the Mati Mati and the Nyampa, they combine here on this occasion. It is a moment of great celebration, a special moment in Australian history. It's a moment of great change. It is one which opens up new opportunities for the future. It's a change which we all share. The return of Mungo Man is a defining moment in the nation's consciousness. It's one in which we are all invited to participate. It's one in which we all need, with Mungo Man, we need your help.